seat so that you get to understand and grab everything that we are going to share with you today. As many of you know, West Africa has become a dynamic hub for business, tourism, and diaspora engagement. Nearly 7.6 million international migrants reside in the sub-region, and close to 90% moving within West Africa itself. At the same time, tourism revenue have increased across the board, and initiatives such as Ghana Year of Return have already attracted hundreds of diasporans who are investing, reconnecting, and even taking up citizenship. This growing mobility underscores why today's topic is important. Understanding work and residence permit requirement is essential, not only for companies who are expanding across borders, but also for individuals who are seeking to live, work, reconnect with their roots in the regions. We are this framework for us. Allow me to introduce our experts to you who will be speaking on this topic. We have Ms. Estelle Nadu, who will be taking us through the permit regimes in Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal. Also, we have Mr. Stephen Bracco, who will cover the expertise on Ghana's framework. And then our lawyer, Don Osoritin Macaulay, will also cover the legal and practical aspect of Nigeria's system. This is how the program is going to be, and I would want you to pay attention to this. So it will begin with an introduction from our speakers, and then we would have panel discussion that will unpack the key issues across the 4 countries. After that, we're going to have an interactive Q&A session where you will have the opportunity to ask all the questions and get clarity directly from our panelists. We are encouraging you to make this as interactive as possible. So please feel free and share your questions in the chat box. Whilst the discussions are going on, you can drop all the questions and we will compile them and answer them after the discussions. Now, we are going to take short introduction from our speakers and then we will continue from there. So I would like to start with Don. Don, can you start and give us a short introduction of yourself whilst the participants take note? Thank you. Don, can you hear me? Okay, whilst we wait for Don, I would like us to take a short introduction from Stephen.
Okay, Madam Jane, thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. My name is Stephen Bracco, a senior business regulatory compliance executive from Firmus Advisory Limited, Ghana, with a 7 years experience in immigration matters, where we help clients to obtain or secure visa on arrival, visa extension, work permit for residence permit for spouse, residence permit for retirees, indefinite permits, and naturalization processes, where we also assist individuals and businesses in Ghana to obtain this permit and also to stay compliant.
Okay, thank you very much. Don, if you can hear me now, kindly take it up and let's hear you. Okay, sorry for that. Estelle, kindly take over and let's have your introduction.
Bonjour, merci à Firmus pour l'invitation. Je suis Estelle et je suis conseillère en investissement financier. J'accompagne les personnes physiques et morales à créer et à développer leur patrimoine en Afrique. Donc, pour cela, je les aide également à s'installer dans les pays comme la Côte d'Ivoire et le Sénégal. Donc, à faire aussi tout ce qui est euh, compliance, voilà, par rapport à l'immigration et par rapport à leur installation effective dans tous ces pays-là. Merci beaucoup.
All right. Thank you very much. I don't know if Dawn is ready now. If not, we would move
Yes,
on.
I am.
Okay, all right. Thank you very
Good
much.
morning, everyone. Thank you, Jane. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dawn Osaife Makole, and I am a lawyer licensed to practice in Nigeria. I am a legal compliance executive with Firmus Advisory Nigeria. My practice area covers legal compliance for entrepreneurs, businesses, investors, both local and foreign investors in Nigeria. And I also handle immigration. So, in terms of e-visa, visa for business owners, permits, expatriate quota, business permits, any immigration document you might require as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, or as an investor in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our panelists, for the brief introduction. And we all know that every country operates in their own laws and regulations when it comes to regulatory compliances and doing business across borders. And the same thing applies when it has to do with work and residence permits. It's never the same in every country. And so today we are going to look at these 4 West African countries, and we are going to delve into what it actually takes to obtain work and residence permits in each of these countries. We are also going to learn the types of permits that are issued to each of applicants in these various countries that we have already mentioned. And I want you to still put your questions in the chat box whilst the discussion is going on so that we can address them after the discussion. Now, without wasting much time, we would like to have our first discussion, which is going to focus on relocation. So I would want us to find out from our various panelists from the various countries, what does it take for somebody relocating from one country to another? What are they supposed to know? What do they need to learn to be able to relocate successfully? We would first take it from Dawn, and then we can listen to the other countries. So Nigeria, over to you.
All right. So for people looking to relocate to Nigeria, the first thing I would say is be open-minded. Nigeria is a very safe place to live in. Nigerians are also generally friendly and they are big on respect. So respect doesn't have to be so much of a grand gesture. A little good morning or hello, it goes a long way. It can help you in opening certain doors that you would not believe would have been opened by just mere greeting. And the food as well. Nigerians love spicy meals. So if you are coming, just have it at the back of your mind that, oh, the meals here are a bit spicy. Although considerations are made for various cultures, so you typically find somebody who prepares your kind of meal in Nigeria. But generally, Nigeria is a very safe place, and the security situation here is as with other parts of the world. So just take out whatever you must have heard from the media about, oh, security in Nigeria. Just forget about all of that and come to Nigeria and experience it for yourself, and you discover that it is safe. It is very calm, and is a peaceful place to live in. For business, is also very great for business. Nigeria has a lot of population, which is a plus for every business owner. So, and then our population are majorly younger generation. So,
Yeah, what's a
for business, Nigeria is a very great place.
Okay, thank you very much, Dawn, for the introduction and then for the briefing. Also, we would want you to give us a shout out from wherever country you are streaming from in the chat box. Just drop where you are joining us from, and we want to acknowledge you whilst the discussion goes on. Thank you very much. So now, can we move to Estelle for Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire? How does it look like when for anybody trying to relocate into any of these countries?
D'accord. Merci beaucoup. La Côte d'Ivoire, c'est vraiment le pays, j'ai envie de dire, de l'hospitalité. Comme son hymne national le dit. C'est un pays où l'accueil est chaleureux. J'ai entendu Don dire tout à l'heure que le Nigeria était un très bon pays où vous pouvez vous installer. Mais je vous assure que, pour ce que je sais que la Côte d'Ivoire, c'est le meilleur pays où il faut s'installer. Juste parce que tout est mis en place pour que vous soyez à l'aise. Donc, la Côte d'Ivoire et le Sénégal ont des similarités, justement, par rapport à même l'architecture de leur ville. Et globalement, ce sont des capitales dynamiques où vous pouvez vivre facilement et travailler. Voilà. C'est vrai qu'en Afrique de l'Ouest, ces pays-là sont reconnus comme les pays où la vie est un peu chère par rapport aux autres pays. Mais après, l'idée, en fait, c'est vraiment de s'installer dans des quartiers d'affaires et surtout dans les grandes villes, voilà, pour le volet sécurité, voilà. Et éviter, certains quartiers la nuit. Et en Côte d'Ivoire, vraiment, l'intégration, c'est vraiment très facile. Il faut seulement apprendre le français, pardon, ou bien se faire accompagner par quelqu'un qui parle le français. Et au Sénégal, en plus du français, il faut maîtriser un peu le Wolof ou avoir quelqu'un qui maîtrise le Wolof. Sinon, ça sera un peu compliqué de s'installer au Sénégal et y vivre. Voilà un peu ce que je peux dire par rapport à la Côte d'Ivoire et au Sénégal. Merci.
Okay, thank you, Estelle. Before we continue, please be reminded that this webinar is in 2 rooms. We are having 2 rooms, one room for French and the other for English. So if you are just joining for the first time and you did not see the video that prompts you to join the right room, please, we are playing the video again. Kindly have a look at it and try to join the right room so you can hear us. Thank you very much.
To choose your preferred language during the webinar, click on the interpretation icon and select either English or French.
Pour choisir votre langue préférée pendant le webinaire, cliquez sur l'icône d'interprétation et sélectionnez l'anglais ou le français.
To choose your preferred language during the webinar, click on the interpretation icon and select either English or French.
Pour choisir votre langue préférée pendant le webinaire, cliquez sur l'icône d'interprétation et sélectionnez l'anglais ou le français.
To choose your preferred language during the webinar, click on the interpretation icon and select either English or French.
Pour choisir votre langue préférée pendant le webinaire, Cliquez sur l'icône d'interprétation et sélectionnez l'anglais ou le français.
All right, welcome back and thank you. I believe that we have all been able to enter the right room so that we could be able to understand the languages being spoken. Thank you. So without wasting time, I would want to move to Ghana for Stephen to tell us about the relocation into Ghana.
Thank you,
What do
Madam
we
Jane.
have to know?
Okay, so for Ghana, Ghana is widely recognized as one of the safest and most politically stable countries in West Africa, where we provide secure environment for professionals and expatriates to live and work. We are also renowned for our hospitality, warmth, and deep respect for traditions. Greetings, we hold greetings importance here. So in case you are walking outside, you see elders or you see people, you just say hello, hi. Okay. So then also we have two religions that are predominant here in Ghana, which are Christianity and Islam. Also, dress code are generally modest, especially in the rural areas. Then also formal attire are expected in the professional and the business settings. Also, our food here is very excellent. We have variety of local foods here. Some are jollof, fufu, bankun, ampesi, and so on. Also, English is widely spoken here in Ghana. There are other local languages that you can also learn, or you can also speak, especially the three languages. So phrases like akwaba, which means welcome, and also medasi, which means thank you, then mepawacho, which means please. So with this in mind, relocating to Ghana, I think it should be pretty much easy for any foreigner who wants to stay here and work.
All right, thank you very much. So if we have anyone from our participants who is seeking to move into Ghana, Nigeria, Côte d'Ivoire, or Senegal, I think that with this brief introduction from the various countries, you are okay and you are free to move into any of these countries. Now, we'd like our panel people to tell us about the types of permits that exist in each of these countries, so that if you find yourself in a particular country and they issue you a permit, you wouldn't say that, oh, I'm expecting to see what a residence permit. However, it could be that the title is different, but then it serves the same purpose. So we want to look at what it is like to get a permit to live and work in Ghana. So Stephen, as you are here, would want you to continue and tell us about it.
Yes, thank you very much, Jen. So in Ghana, there are so many permits that you can choose from, depending on the circumstances or depending on what you want to do in Ghana. So there's visa or visa on arrival for either business or tourist, those coming in for tourist purposes. We also have work permit for those who are coming to work and live here in Ghana. We have residence permits for spouse or retiree, those who are retired and want to come and settle in Ghana, those in the diaspora. So we have residence permits for also that. We have indefinite permit as well for those who have been here longer, for more than 6 years. You can also get indefinite permit. Then also, of course, naturalization permit as well, where you can also apply. Thank you, Jen.
Oh, okay, thank you very much, Stephen. I would move to Estelle so that she can tell us about Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal. What types of documents should an expat expect to say that I actually have the permission to live and work in these countries?
Déjà, en fait, pouvoir même entrer en Côte d'Ivoire, il y a un permis, voilà. pour entrer en Côte d'Ivoire. Donc, vous devez voir si votre nationalité est soumise aussi à ce permis. Parce que c'est pas tout le monde, en fait, qui a besoin d'un visa pour entrer. Donc, vous devez déjà vérifier cela. Après, si vous voulez travailler, il y a aussi un permis. Si vous voulez investir, il y a également un permis. Donc, en fonction de ce que vous voulez faire ici, il y a des formalités à accomplir. Mais l'idée, c'est de savoir, est-ce que moi, je suis concernée? Donc, il faut vraiment prendre le temps de se renseigner par rapport à votre nationalité et aux conditions que vous devez remplir pour être en Côte d'Ivoire. Et au
All
Sénégal
right.
aussi, c'est pareil.
Okay, thank you very much, Estelle. Now let's go to Nigeria and see what is available for us.
Okay, thank you very much, Jane. So in Nigeria, if you're planning to relocate to Nigeria, there are various permits that are available depending on the purpose. For example, if you plan on coming for just a very short business visit, say a couple of days, 30 days max, you can apply for an e-visa. You can come around, do a little bit of market research or for whatever program that you want to handle within that period of time. So you apply for an e-visa. If you would like to work in Nigeria for a period of time, let's say a contract job that doesn't require so long, then you can get a temporary work permit. But if you plan on working for a long period of time and also residing in Nigeria, the appropriate document to obtain is a CERPAC, which is a comprehensive expatriate residence permit and automated card, which would be granted to you when you plan on relocating to Nigeria. So that's the document, whether you plan to come into Nigeria for work, for study, for to start up a business, whatever the case may be, you need to get a CERPAC. Even when you are a dependent, you also need to obtain a CERPAC as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure we are taking notice of the different types of work and residence permits available in these countries. Now, before we proceed to our next discussion, I would want to remind you to drop your questions in the chat box. As I earlier mentioned, this is going to be interactive as possible. And the main objective is to address your issues. So please drop all your questions in the chat box so that we can address them accordingly. Thank you very much. Now, the part that I see to be most important, this is where you have to take much notice of, because at the end of the day, whether you are going to get approval or whether your work is going to delay, your application will not be approved or not, is going to depend on the documentation. And so we would want each of the countries to tell us the exact documents that you need to apply for work and residence permit successfully. And the emphasis is on the success of your application. All right. Can we take it from Estelle? Tell us about Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal. Which documents does an expat need to get a work and residence permit?
Merci beaucoup. Donc, par rapport à la Côte d'Ivoire, voilà, et au Sénégal, comme je vous l'ai dit précédemment, ce sont des pays quand même qui se ressemblent en matière de conformité. Donc, bien sûr, il faut avoir un passeport valide, voilà, un contrat de travail, un casier judiciaire récent, un certificat médical, des photos d'identité et bien sûr, il faut justifier son domicile. Voilà. Donc, j'ai envie de dire, c'est vraiment pour le permis. Je veux travailler en Côte d'Ivoire ou au Sénégal. Donc, grosso modo, c'est un peu les documents qu'on va vous demander. Voilà. Maintenant, pour quelqu'un qui veut juste résider en Côte d'Ivoire et au Sénégal, l'idée, c'est simple. Il faut justifier son domicile. Il faut avoir un passeport valide et bien sûr, un casier judiciaire et un certificat médical. Là, on ne parlera pas de contrat de travail. Voilà un peu les documents à fournir pour être en règle vis-à-vis de l'immigration en Côte d'Ivoire. Toutefois, je veux ajouter que selon ce que vous voulez vraiment faire en Côte d'Ivoire, voilà, il y a des documents en plus qui peuvent être demandés, voilà, au cas par cas. Voilà, si il y a des personnes qui peuvent avoir en fait des besoins hybrides de résider et de travailler, voilà. On peut vous demander d'autres documents euh, par rapport à votre besoin. Donc, il faut vraiment noter cela. Merci.
Thank you very much, Estelle, for the clarification. And I believe we have taken notes of that. Now, can we go to Steven to tell us about Ghana? If I need work and residence permit, what documents do you expect of me as an expat for you to successfully process my permit for me?
Thank you very much, Jane. To secure work and residence permit in Ghana, the most important thing is for you to get a job offer. So you have a company here in Ghana that is willing to employ you, or you come in, you set up your own business. So when you set up your own business, one of the requirements immigration requires from you is the company documents. The company employing you, you need to add a document to the application form. The application form is in two sides. So it has the residence permit for those coming to work and the work permit. So you complete the forms, the work permit and the residence permit. You add your CV, you add cover letter, you add the company documents, you add police clearance reports. This should be, I want everybody to know this. So those coming in to work, you need to get a police clearance report from your home country before you come. It's very, very important. Immigration requires that you show that. Also, there's a medical screening that you need to do at Ghana Immigration Center. There's ID card, non-citizen card, and also you pay the appropriate fees. So basically, you need all these documents to be able to successfully secure your work and residence permit in Ghana. Thank you, Jen.
Okay, so if I'm able to provide all this information, I am assured that I'm going to get my work and residence permit, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we move to Nigeria? Dawn will tell us about what is required of us to get either a CERPAC or a residence permit in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much. So in Nigeria, the documents that are required to get CERPAC, but the very first thing I need to point out is if you have intentions of getting a CERPAC, the first step is to come into Nigeria with an STR visa. So you either speak to a professional or have it at the back of your mind that you have to come into Nigeria with an STR visa, because that's the very first step and the foundation of your application. If you come into Nigeria with any other means or any other visa, you would not be able to apply for a CERPAC. You have to exit Nigeria and then come back into the country with that visa. So an STR visa is a subject to regularization visa, and you apply for this visa from your home country, not in Nigeria. So you apply from your home country, and then once you are granted the visa, you come into Nigeria. Once you get to Nigeria, the documents that are typically required to process a CERPAC include a valid passport. So ensure your passport is not expired, a valid passport photograph, have a very clear passport photograph that you're going to use for the application process, and your employment letter or employment offer if you've been offered employment. If you are planning on starting a business, then ensure you have the incorporation document for that business. So you can actually register the business before you come into Nigeria, because registration of businesses can be done online in Nigeria. So have the incorporation document and any other supporting document, such as a license or any other legal compliance document for the company. Then you also need to come into Nigeria with an expatriate quota. So for foreigners who are coming to work, the company you are going to work for, you need to ensure that they have expatriate quota, which is more like having the ability to employ you as an expatriate in Nigeria. So they need an expatriate quota and also business permit. If you're coming to set up a business in Nigeria, you also need to obtain this as well. So expatriate quota, business permit, valid passport photograph, valid international passports, your employment letter, if you are coming in through a job means. If you are coming to study in Nigeria, then your admission letter. So these are some of the documents that are required of you when you are coming to Nigeria to apply for a CERPAC. And please don't forget, you have to come into Nigeria with an STR visa.
Okay, thank you, Dawn. So from your explanation, if I may ask again, does that mean that if an expat enters Nigeria with any kind of visa, then upon entry, the person gets employment with any company? Do they have to go back to their home country and apply again for STR visa to come back before they can get the CERPAC?
Yes, so you would have to apply again. And this is because, for example, let's say you come into Nigeria with an e-visa. When you're coming into Nigeria, you are issued a visa or a permit for a particular purpose. If you are coming into Nigeria with an e-visa, you are expected to leave before the expiration of 30 days. So you would have already booked your return ticket home. If you don't leave, there are fines, there are sanctions for this. So you have to leave, exit Nigeria, and then come back into the country. If you're coming into Nigeria with a temporary work permit, before that temporary work permit expires, you have to leave Nigeria and go to your home country. So it's very important that you leave Nigeria before you can obtain a CERPAC, because the STR visa has to be applied from your home country. You cannot apply for that visa in Nigeria. So that's why you have to leave Nigeria. Should you find yourself in a situation where you get a job on a short visit to Nigeria, so you have to leave Nigeria and then come back with an STR visa.
I see. That looks costly on the part of the applicants, but then that is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so let's take note of that. From your explanation also, you have mentioned a bit of an expatriate quota, and I know Ghana also have expatriate quota. So let me go back to Stephen. Stephen, if an expatriate comes to you and say that I already have quota, and so it means that I already have work and residence permits. Having expatriate quota in Ghana, is it enough to serve as work and residence permits? Is the person permitted to continue living and working in Ghana?
Okay, thank you very much, Jen. So with quota permits, it's not enough. You need to also go to immigration. Quota is issued by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, which is called GIPC. So they issue the quota letter. Then you go to immigration for them to grant you a residence permit. So having the quota letter is not enough for you to work in Ghana. You also need the residence permit to stay as well. So immediately you have your quota letter, you need to go back to immigration, apply for a residence permit, and pay the appropriate fees involved.
Okay, I think this is clear now. So if you are an expat in Ghana and you have been given quota from GIPC, that does not end it. It means that you still need to get your residence permit from immigration before you can legally live in Ghana. All right, thank you very much for this clarification. And we have taken note of all the documents that we need to put together for getting this kind of permits and the ability to live and work in other countries. Now, we also want to ask MC, especially, do you have to give any consideration to your kind of operation before choosing a work permit. So for example, if I'm a free zones company in Ghana, do I have to go to immigration and ask for work and residence permit, or is there something else I'll have to know?
Thank you very much, Jen. So for those working in the free zones enclave, you have to go to free zones office. Then they will submit your application to immigration. Free zones work directly with immigration. So you as an individual, you can't go to immigration and submit your application. You need to go through free zones. There are also fees that you have to pay for that. Thank you, Jen.
So this means that we all need expert guidance in one way or the other to be able to successfully get the right kind of permits that we require. So if you are entering any of these countries that you have no knowledge or just have a little knowledge of their regulatory compliances, as far as immigration or any other regulatory compliances are concerned, you will still need to seek expert advice so that you don't end up getting the right story, the wrong processes, or using the wrong approach. If we listen to what has been shared, it means that we have to go through things differently in different countries. And so if you are privy to one country's processes, it does not mean that the same applies in another country. And you have to know what exactly is needed in that country before you can get the right permit. Thank you very much for this explanation. Now, we would want to see the timelines. If I have to apply for work and residence permit, what are the timelines? When can I get my permit out? How long does it take? And what are the fees involved? Do I need to renew my registration, or it is once you apply once and that is it? You can live and work as many years as you wish in the countries. Since we have Stephen on still, would want him to tell us about Ghana. What are the duration for the application? What are the fees? And what is the renewal policy?
Okay, thank you, Jen, very much for the question. So for application of work and residence permit, it varies. If you are using a consultant, like Firmus Advisory Limited, 2 weeks maximum, your permit will be ready. Your work and residence permit will be ready. So if you're also focusing on going directly to immigration, then it can take at least 1 to 2 months. Okay, so I would advise that you use, when you come in, you use professional help to guide you in this area. Also, in terms of the fees, for work permits for, let's say, other nationals, foreign nationals, is $1,000. ECOWAS national is $647. Also, we have residence permit for your spouse. In case you're a foreigner, you come to Ghana with your family, also you need to get them a residence permit. Because they are not coming to work, you need to focus on the residence permit aspects. So that also has its fees that you need to pay. For the dependents, they don't partake in the medical screening. It's only just the application. You just submit the application because they are dependent on the principal holder of the permits. They don't have to do any medical screening for that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And is it subject to renewal, or it's once you do it, it's forever?
No, so it's subject to renewal. It's yearly. So for a first time, you are given 1 year. For the second time, you can apply for 2 years, but you can still maintain the 1 year, depending on the contract you have with the company. So it's renewal yearly.
Okay. So which do you think is better? Do I do 2 years? Does that cut down the cost if I'm doing 2 years, or that do I have to still pay for 2 years?
So mostly it depends on the contract you have with your company. Some companies do like apply 1 year. When it expires, then they apply another, but they don't know if you are going to leave or not. But some also, because it's a long-time contract, you can apply for 2 years. But the cost is still the same. Whether you're applying for 1 year or 2 years, you pay. So for 2 years, you pay twice the 1 year fee. So if you're paying $1,000 for 1 year, 2 years, you pay $2,000.
Okay. So it means that it doesn't matter if you are applying for even 3 years, you are going to pay times 3. There's no discount on how many years you apply for.
No,
Wow.
there's no discount. Yes.
Okay, that's great to know. Let's go to Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal. Estelle, kindly walk us through the timelines for getting the permits, the official fees involved, and whether it is subject to renewal or not.
Ok. Déjà, j'ai entendu Stephen en train de parler des délais avec assurance. Moi, je peux pas le faire parce qu'en Côte d'Ivoire, il faut déjà s'armer de patience, vraiment beaucoup de patience. Et parce que les délais, en fait, varient. Ça dépend vraiment de la charge de travail de l'immigration. Donc, déjà, en ce qui concerne le visa d'entrée, bon, pour les nationalités qui le peuvent, le e-visa, c'est maximum en 72 heures et ça coûte entre $50 et $60. Voilà. Et voilà, vous pouvez avoir un e-visa de 3 mois, vous pouvez renouveler 2 fois. Après, vous pouvez maintenant demander la carte de résidence. Voilà, la carte de résidence de 1 à 3 ans, voilà, que vous devez aussi renouveler. Donc, en termes de coût, on est entre 300 et 400 000 francs. Mais selon la nationalité, si vous êtes de la CEDEAO, si vous êtes un Français, si vous êtes plutôt une autre nationalité, voilà, selon votre nationalité, il peut y avoir des réductions. Voilà, par exemple, les Français, il y a une réduction. Et pour les autres pays même de la CEDEAO, il y a par exemple, par rapport si ça nécessite vraiment que vous ayez un visa ou bien une carte de résidence, il y a aussi des réductions. Voilà. Donc, on renouvelle. Donc, moi, je conseille à toutes les personnes qui sont en Côte d'Ivoire par rapport à la carte de résidence de renouveler de s'y prendre au moins 30 jours avant l'expiration. Ça permet vraiment d'avoir ces documents rapidement. C'est vrai, vous pouvez aussi faire appel à un consultant, voilà, pour essayer de réduire et puis au moins pour essayer de garantir le process. Après, pour le permis de travail, les coûts, c'est un peu plus, on peut calculer, ça avoisine en fait 1 mois de salaire. Donc ça, c'est à la charge, évidemment, de l'employeur, voilà, qui doit prendre au moins 1 mois de salaire environ pour les permis de travail. Et les permis de travail, c'est vraiment à renouveler chaque année. Donc, chaque année, vous devez faire votre permis de travail. Voilà un peu comment ça se passe en Côte d'Ivoire. Au Sénégal, par contre, il n'y a pas en fait il n'y a pas vraiment par rapport au permis de travail, c'est-à-dire les frais sont assez moins onéreux, c'est assez moins cher parce que c'est déjà fixe. Voilà, ça dépend pas du salaire. Donc, c'est plus accessible. Il y a aussi des visas pour les cas d'étrangers, les cas d'investisseurs. Et ça aussi, à des coûts assez réduits. Donc, je vais dire entre 250 et 350 pour le Sénégal. Voilà, voilà un peu. Il faut aussi renouveler au Sénégal, voilà, selon le type de permis que vous avez. Voilà.
All right, thank you, Estelle, for the clarification. We appreciate it. Now we know that we are coming to Côte d'Ivoire or Senegal for application. We know how long it takes, and we'll be able to patiently wait for the time. Okay. Don't forget to drop your questions in the chat box. as we would address those ones after the discussion. We have 2 more discussions to go, and then we can have a short break and come back to answer your questions in the chat box. Thank you for staying on, and we will continue to our next question. So in Nigeria, Dawn, how long does it take to get a permit? What are the fees? And is it subject to renewal or not?
All right, thank you very much. So in Nigeria, it takes, for CERPAC, it takes 2 to 4 weeks. It can be gotten earlier, within 2 weeks, so it depends on regulatory issues, but typically it takes 2 to 4 weeks to obtain CERPAC. And the fees range between 2,000 to 3,100 USD. So for CERPAC, the fees are charged in USD. But if you want to convert in Naira, then it will be the equivalent of that amount. So that's the fee. But for TWP, which is temporary work permits, there's no fixed fee. So it's dependent on nationality. Once your nationality is confirmed, then we can check the fees and then give a feedback. Same for e-visa. There are also some countries whose visas, which is TWP and e-visa, is free. So the countries like Singapore, basically you don't pay any visa fee, but you pay for processing to Firmus Advisory, for example, and also bank charge to the government. So that's for the fee. For renewals, so CERPAC is valid for a year, and you're expected to renew it before it expires. So 30 days before it expires, you're expected to renew it. You are not supposed to be going around with an expired document, because that's basically like a means of identification for you in Nigeria. When you are stopped by any security personnel and you are checked, it is expected that your CERPAC is valid. So 30 days before it expires, which is like a month before its expiration date, you're supposed to go and renew your CERPAC. So that's for Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much, Dawn, for the clarification also. So if you are looking to come to Nigeria, know that if you need CERPAC, you cannot rush, because it can take up to 4 weeks to get it out. Now, last but not the least question we have here, we are going to look at the type of consular cards, the certificates, and then some things like local sponsorships. So we want to check from the various countries. Is there anything like a certificate given after you have applied for the work and residence permit? What do I receive so that I know that, oh, I have been granted my CERPAC, I have been given my work and residence permit in Ghana. Oh, as I have this document, it shows that I already have my consular card and I can proceed to work. Let us know what we actually receive. How does it look like? Okay, and then if there's any form of local sponsorships that are available in your country of operation, we would want you to tell us about it. So let's start with you, Dawn. As you just ended it, we want you to start with us.
Okay, so for Nigeria, the CERPAC is a very small card. It looks like an identification card, the normal ID cards. So that's the size of it, and it's green in color. So that's what it looks like. When you apply for CERPAC, that's what you're going to be issued, and you're expected to have it on you regularly. So it's a very handy document, just a small card. You can also have e-copies on your device as well, just in case the physical copy gets stolen or it gets missing. For sponsorship, the company you're coming to work with can decide to sponsor you. And if they do sponsor you, that's when you would be able to use their documents. So you can't say, oh, I'm coming to work for a particular company and you don't have the documents for this company. So that's as far as sponsorship goes for Nigeria. They can also cover the cost of this application as well, once you have been given employment in their establishment.
Okay, thank you very much, Dawn. Now we want to go to Ghana to see what we will get. But before I go to Ghana, Dawn, you didn't mention about residence permits, did you?
So in Nigeria, a work and residence permit is one card, so it comes together. So if you want to work, which is CERPAC, if you want to work and reside in Nigeria, you just need to obtain one card, which is CERPAC. If you want to be an investor and reside in Nigeria, you also need to obtain CERPAC. If you are depending on an expatriate who works and resides in Nigeria, you also need to obtain CERPAC. If you're coming to school in Nigeria, it is CERPAC. So Nigeria has a uniform document for relocation or residence, work and residence per se, or schooling and residing in Nigeria for a long period of time, which is CERPAC. So it's just one card that you require to process to give you the legal standing in Nigeria.
Okay.
Or for short stays, that's when you would now require an e-visa or a temporary work permit.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now, with Ghana, Stephen, what documents should I expect if I'm an expat seeking to come to Ghana? After you have applied for me, what will you give me to prove that I have work and residence permit?
Okay, thank you, Jane. So after successfully applying or completing the forms and submitting all the required documents, you will receive a work permit letter, which authorizes you to work in Ghana. Then also you'll be given a residence permit. The residence permit will be in the passport. So on the work permit letter, it has the company name, your name, the applicant's name, the company name, and the position. So let's say if it's Stephen Bracon, position engineer, and the company name. So it has all that on the work permit letter. And the residence permit, which will be placed in your passport, has the company name as well, has the effective date, and also has the issue date. So the effective date talks about when your document when it's issued. So if the effective date is today, so your residence permit starts from today to the following year. So you should take notice in case you are moving around and you don't know when it will expire. You can check your residence permit in your passport to then know when it will expire. Okay. Then yes, I think that's all.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So Estelle, can you please tell us about Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal? What do you give me that proves that I can now stay and work in any of these countries?
D'accord. Donc, en ce qui concerne le permis de travail, il y a la carte de travail que vous allez avoir, voilà, qui prouve que vous pouvez travailler, voilà. En ce qui concerne la résidence, il y a la carte de résidence qui prouve que désormais, vous pouvez résider en Côte d'Ivoire. Donc, contrairement à ce qui se passe peut-être au Ghana, il n'y a pas de document intermédiaire. Donc, c'est forcément la carte de travail, la carte de résidence. Pour le visa, c'est le e-visa en ligne et puis voilà.
Okay, thank you very much, Estelle. We appreciate the elaboration. Now, our last question for discussion is actually going to look at the trends. What has been the recent changes in terms of regulatory compliances as far as immigration or permits, work and residence permits is concerned. Has there been any recent change in the country of your operation? Is there any trend now that has affected the processes compared to maybe a year or two back? Has there been any major changes that we have to know? We would want you to address those changes for us so that we can take notice of them. So Estelle, kindly take us through Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire. Over the period, has there been any change that we should know of? Thank you.
En Côte d'Ivoire et au Sénégal, il n'y a pas eu grand changement, seulement que il y a des changements qui pourraient intervenir à partir de l'année prochaine, surtout par rapport à la digitalisation de tout le process. Parce que en ce qui concerne la carte de travail, c'est encore fait de façon manuelle, donc c'est compliqué suivre un peu l'évolution des choses. Donc c'est ce travail-là qui est en train d'être fait, voilà, par rapport à la Côte d'Ivoire. Et je pense aussi, parce que il y a beaucoup d'entreprises ou de personnes qui ne sont pas informées. Donc il y a une période aussi de répression qui arrive, voilà, de contrôle, parce qu'il y a beaucoup d'entreprises qui ont recruté des personnes sans forcément se plier aux exigences, voilà. Donc, c'est vraiment plus une phase de répression qui arrive et une phase aussi de digitalisation des process en Côte d'Ivoire et au Sénégal qui va venir dans les jours à venir.
Okay, thank you very much, Estelle, for the information. Okay, so can Nigeria tell us any changes that has occurred over the period that we should take notice of?
Thank you very much, Jane. So in Nigeria, there are a couple of things that have changed, and there are also some things that would be affected very soon. For example, in Nigeria, we used to have visa on arrival, but currently we no longer do visa on arrival. What we have is e-visa. So you're expected to obtain your e-visa for short visits, your e-visa, your TWP before you come into the country. So you would have gotten approval before you even bought the plane coming to Nigeria. Also for CERPAC, the fees have changed. So it was effected last month. So the fee which I quoted earlier on is a new fee. So if you see something that's different from that, just know that it's an old fee. There are also talks about expatriate employment levy, which is more like a tax. So if you're coming to work for a company in Nigeria as an expatriate, you need to be very mindful of this, not just for yourself, but for the organization you work for as well. So it's not been affected yet, but once it comes into effect, companies will be expected to pay this levy on behalf of their employees, that's expatriate employees. Also, if you overstay your validity period or the time you are being allocated to reside in Nigeria, there are fines, and you could also face a travel ban into the country for a period of time, depending on what the Nigerian Immigration Service decides. So you have to be very, very mindful of these things. You have to be on the lookout for laws that are applicable. Immediately this expatriate levy, employment levy comes into effect, make sure you are aware of it, and then you notify your employer to start effecting these things. And also always check your residence card, check it and make sure that you apply for a renewal 30 days before it expires. So it's better you put in a renewal, and if there is a delay, then you know that, okay, you've done all you can, but the delay is coming from the regulatory body, not from your end. Yeah,
Okay,
so these are some of the
that is
things.
interesting. That's interesting. But John, I think on my recent visits to Nigeria, I got to the airport and I was asked, "Have you filled your landing card?" And I was like, this is new because previously there was nothing like that. So I got to know that now if you are leaving, you have to fill the exit card. And if you are coming in, you do the
Yeah.
landing card. Can you brief us on this?
Okay.
If
So
anybody is seeking to come to Nigeria about this change that has occurred?
yeah, so this change is synonymous with the e-visa. So when you're coming into Nigeria, you are expected immediately you land at the airport. Before you check out, you're expected to fill your landing card. The interesting thing about it is it's been done before. It's not a new policy, but it's just a change of procedure and a change of name. So before, when it was visa on arrival, when you get into Nigeria, you would be busy with all of those processes and you would also file in when you land. But now it's done online. So immediately you come into Nigeria, you're expected to create a portal with your email address and also have a password. Create an account, fill in your details that you have landed in Nigeria. That's the landing card, and you'll be issued a landing card. When you're leaving Nigeria, you are expected to also fill in your details that you are exiting the country. This is very important because with the landing and exit card, it would help the regulatory body monitor when you come into the country and when you exit the country, and also calculate whether or not you overstay the time that you have been given. So even though you say, oh, I booked my flight ticket and I actually left on that day, you can check and you would see that, yeah, I was checked in and I left the country. I came into the country. That's just semantics. So, but you're expected to fill in your landing and your exit card. If you don't, you would have a fine, and that fine would start counting on a daily basis, about $15 for the number of days that you've exceeded your stay in the country. So ensure you have it at the back of your mind that landing and exit card are very, very important documents, and it can be filled online. So it's very convenient. You don't have to go through so much stress to do it.
Oh, that is great and interesting. Okay, thank you so much for this clarification. We would move to the last discussion with Stephen to tell us about Ghana. Has there been any recent changes in terms of regulatory compliances for immigration in Ghana?
Thank you very much, Jen. Yes, there has been some major changes. So immigration has revised its fees. So for work and residence permit for ECOWAS national, it used to be $500. Now it's $647. Also for residence permit for spouse, I mean, those depending on the principal holder of permits, it used to be $300 for other nationals like the Americans, the Indians, the Chinese. It used to be 300 cedis, sorry, but now it's 388 cedis. Also, for the ECOWAS nationals, it used to be 200 cedis for the spouse, but now it's 259 cedis. So these are the major changes in the fees. We will share the revised fees with our participants. But then also another change that has occurred is Ghana has introduced a visa-free to some other African nationals, countries. So South Africa, for example, is a visa-free country now. You can just walk in, you don't have to apply for a visa. So these are the two key major changes that has occurred over the last years.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. It means that we can all start planning for some holidays in South Africa, right? Since it's a visa-free country now. Okay, thank you very much. We'd like to appreciate you, our participants, for staying on till now. We are going to take a short break and then we will come back to address the questions that we have in the chat box. But before we go on this break, if you have any question, please drop it in the chat box so that we can address it. Thank you and see you soon.
Hi guys, do you need an emergency visa to Ghana? You find yourself stranded somewhere in the city, or there is no Ghana embassy or consulate in your city of residence? Then visa on arrival is definitely the thing that you need to be able to travel to Ghana. So here at Firmus, we facilitate visa on arrival in 2 to 3 working days. The official visa on arrival fee is $150 irrespective of nationality and also whether you're an adult or a child. To be able to get this done for you, we need the following documents. Number one, we need your passport scanned copy. We also need your flight booking and your hotel booking as well, especially if you are sleeping in a hotel. If you are lodging with a friend, just share your address and that's good to go. And additionally, we also need to know the purpose of your travel to Ghana. With all this, you just send it to us, and in 2 to 3 working days, your visa on arrival approval will be ready. We will send this to you, and all you need to do is to print a copy, and you can use this copy to do all your immigration and departure formalities. And upon arrival in Côte Accra Airport, your visa will be issued without you having to make any additional payment. We have done so many visas for so many people, and we are happy to serve you as well. We also give you 100% money back guarantee, such that even if you pay and you don't get the visa, we will refund 100% of your money to you, because we know we are so good at what we do. So we look forward to working with you. Just reach out to us, drop us an email, and we will reach out to you and get it done for you. Thank you.
Are you traveling to Nigeria? Maybe you have applied online on the online visa platform. It is stuck in there. You are not hearing feedback from them, and yet you have an urgent pending travel just around the corner. Don't worry. Firmus Advisory provides visa on arrival services. In 48 hours, we will get you sorted. All you need to do is to send us your passport scanned copy, your flight booking, and your passport size photo. We provide 100% money back guarantee for your visa on arrival service. If we don't get it for you, we will pay you back. We handle all the documents that needs to go with the application, the introductory documents, and all you need, give you the peace of mind, and we ensure fast and safe delivery of your visa permit. We've served many nationalities, including Americans and people all over the world. Reach out to us on the contact below, and we'll be happy to get you sorted. Are you traveling to Nigeria? Maybe you have applied online on the online visa platform. It is stuck in there. You are not hearing feedback from them, and yet you have an urgent pending travel just around the corner. Don't worry. Firmus Advisory provides visa on arrival services. In 48 hours, we will get you sorted. All you need to do is to send us your passport scanned copy, your flight booking, and your passport size photo. We provide 100% money back guarantee for your visa on arrival service. If we don't get it for you, we will pay you back. We handle all the documents that needs to go with the application, the introductory documents, and all you need, give you the peace of mind, and we ensure fast and safe delivery of your visa permit. We've served many nationalities, including Americans and people all over the world. Reach out to us on the contact below, and we'll be happy to get you sorted.
Okay, welcome back, and thank you for still staying on. We want to thank our panel for the great discussions that we have had. Now we have a couple of questions in our chat box that we want to address. We would want them to address for us. And if you still have any question, please drop it in the chat box so that we can answer you. Thank you very much for your time once again. So the first question is to Estelle for Côte d'Ivoire. If I want to work on a project for 3 months or less in Côte d'Ivoire, do I need a work permit?
Oui, vous avez besoin d'obtenir un visa de travail. Votre employeur doit déjà, en fait, faire la demande pour vous. Parce que l'idée, en fait, c'est de prouver pourquoi, en fait, il a besoin de personnes étrangères voilà, d'employer à l'étranger au lieu de recruter des personnes en Côte d'Ivoire. Donc, forcément, vous avez besoin de permis de travail.
Okay, thank you very much. So I hope your question has been answered. If you need any further clarification, you can send us a mail and we would address it for you after. Okay, so our next question is to Ghana. Stephen, do I need to apply for residence permit separately if I have already applied for work permit? Or in other ways, when you are in Ghana, do you have to apply for work permit separate and residence permit separate?
Thank you very much, Jen. So for those coming to work and live here in Ghana, the work and resident permit goes together. You need to apply together. You can't apply only the work permit, then later on apply the resident permit. It goes together. So you have to apply them together. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the clarification. And the next question is, I'm a Ghanaian. I intend to set up my farming business. In Côte d'Ivoire. So this is to excel. If a Ghanaian wants to set up a farming business in Côte d'Ivoire, and then the person has an Ivorian partner who resides in Côte d'Ivoire, and I don't have a plan on staying permanently to work in Côte d'Ivoire, do I still need to get a permit? Do I still need to get a work permit? If yes, how do I go about it?
Ça, c'est une très belle question. L'idée, c'est de savoir, est-ce que genre, je renonce à ma nationalité? Parce que vous êtes par alliance, vous pouvez aussi avoir en fait la nationalité ivoirienne, mais il faut le demander. Si, parce que vous êtes marié avec, vous avez votre mari ivoirien, vous pouvez également aussi bénéficier de tous les avantages de tous les Ivoiriens sans avoir besoin d'un permis. Mais si vous gardez votre nationalité, voilà, qui nécessite un permis, il va falloir demander un permis de travail. Donc, ça dépend de vous. Soit vous demandez la nationalité et puis on finit avec tout ça, ou tout simplement, vous demandez un permis de travail comme tout le monde.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Are there also specific industries in Côte d'Ivoire, Estelle, where immigration requirements are a bit more strict than it usually is? That is, do certain sectors require a more stricter requirement when it comes to immigration?
Ok, j'ai envie de dire, je dirais pas des stricts, mais je dirais plutôt, il y a des secteurs où il y a beaucoup d'Ivoiriens, où il y a la main-d'œuvre, il n'y a pas forcément de nécessité de recourir à un personnel étranger. Là, dans les domaines, par exemple, du commerce, prestation de services, où il y a vraiment en fait de la main-d'œuvre, il y a des personnes qualifiées pour faire le travail. Voilà. Si on constate que, au lieu de recruter des personnes qui sont déjà qualifiées, voilà, en Côte d'Ivoire, ça peut bloquer le processus. Vous devez justement prouver pourquoi vous avez forcément besoin de recruter à l'extérieur, au lieu de recruter des personnes qui sont déjà là. Donc, ça peut corser, évidemment, le processus. Sinon, il n'y a pas de domaine strict. Voilà, seulement ça dépend de la rareté de la main-d'œuvre ici en Côte d'Ivoire. Il y a des métiers, par exemple, dans les mines, il y a des métiers assez rares où on a forcément besoin de la main-d'œuvre extérieure, d'un personnel extérieur. Mais il y a des métiers, par exemple, vous dites, je recherche un commercial et vous allez recruter un commercial peut-être à l'extérieur, un étranger qui a besoin d'un permis de travail. Là, ça complique un peu les choses parce que votre dossier, ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est qu'en matière de permis de travail, votre dossier peut être accepté comme refusé. Voilà, donc il faut que l'entreprise ait un bon dossier qui soumet, voilà, qui justifie la nécessité de recruter un personnel étranger.
All right, thank you very much, Estelle. We are going back to Ghana, to Nigeria. So Nigeria, we want to know that, do Ghanaians need permits, work permits to work in Nigeria? If yes, how long is it valid for?
Okay, yes, Ghanaians need a work permit to work in Nigeria. So their work permit is different from CERPAC because Ghanaians fall under ECOWAS. So for those who are ECOWAS nationals, then they would have to obtain, not just Ghanaians, they'll have to obtain an ECOWAS residence permit, and it is valid for 2 years.
Okay, thank you very much. That is pretty much straightforward. Okay, so if you are from any of the ECOWAS countries and you are in Nigeria, it means you need residence permit, which is valid for 2 years and not CERPAC. So take note
Yes.
of that. Okay. Now, our next question. What is the turnaround time for the work and residence permit in these countries? I think this was addressed during the presentation or the discussion. We looked at the duration for getting the permit in all these countries, but we will still share it with you after this webinar because we cannot go around to say it again. So we'll share the details with you after the presentation or this webinar so that you get to learn about it. Yes. Okay. And then I'm a Nigerian and I have the Ghana Stay extension. So I'm sure she's trying to say he has an extension, visa extension permit, which is till October 2025, and then renewed consecutively twice now. So he has renewed his permit twice already. And the second one is expiring in October 2025. Now, what he wants to know is that what is the procedure in getting work and residence permits and how much does he have to pay?
Okay, Jane, thank you. So for ECOWAS nationals, you need work and residence permit. So in this case, he has done, the person has done 2 extensions. There's one more that you can do. So when you exhaust that, then you have to get work and residence permit. So in order to also get that, you need to have an employer here, or you set up your own business, then submit a document to immigration, then you can apply for work and residence permit. For the fees, ECOWAS National now, they pay $447. There's also medical fee that you need to pay, which is $250. There's a non-citizen card for first time, which is $120, and $60 for renewal. So if you have all this, you can apply for work and residence permit.
Okay. I think you can also send an email, and if you didn't get everything clearly or you did not join us from the beginning, you can send an email and we'll share more details with you on that. Thank you very much for the question. Okay, the next question we have is people are still asking about the requirements and the processes in getting the permits, which we spoke about already. So if you did not get that bit and you still need more clarification, please drop an email. We will share an email with you after the discussions. You can drop an email and we would attend to you. Okay, so we want to also know about the requirements and processes to get residence permits as a retiree. So this is for Ghana, a retiree who wants to relocate and live in Ghana. What are the requirements and the process? Stephen, can you address this quickly?
Yes, so for retiree residence permit, there's a form, which is the residence permit form. You need a cover letter. You need to show that you have property. Also, you need to show that you have funds enough to stay and enjoy your life in Ghana, you need to have one Ghanaian guarantor to also go with you and sign a bond at immigration. So basically, you pay the appropriate fees, which is 300 cedis. So this is all that you need to successfully get your residence permit as a retired person.
Okay. The next question is still to Ghana. If an expat is married to a Ghanaian, how does that affect the application for residence permits or work permits?
Okay, so for expats married to a Ghanaian, there are two forms of permits you can get. So if the person is coming to work, you have to apply for a work and residence permit. But their fees is a bit different because they are married to a Ghanaian. And also, if the person is just coming to reside here in Ghana, you have to go in for just the residence permit. So you need to go to immigration with your spouse. There's a form you complete, you sign bond, you show your marriage certificate, you show the pictures, you have to present your passport, get the non-citizen card, and pay the appropriate fees. So these are all the things you need to get a permit.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the clarification. Also, we want to understand, as an expatriate in Nigeria on work permits, can I change jobs? And if I do I need another work permit? So Dawn, this is to you. If I'm working for company A in Nigeria on a particular, on work permit, can I move to company B? And if I move to company B, do I have to apply for a new work permit, or the old one still permits me to work for company B?
Okay, this is a very interesting question, and I'm happy it was asked. So if you come into Nigeria working for company A and you've obtained your CERPAC, and along the line you got a job with another company, say company B, the appropriate thing to do is you have to notify the Nigerian Immigration Service that you have changed jobs and that the company in which you obtain your CERPAC, because you have to bear in mind that your CERPAC is predicated upon your employment. So the foundation of that CERPAC is the employment with company A. So you need to inform Nigerian immigration that you've gotten another job, and during your notification of this condition, you'll be expected to surrender your old CERPAC. So you surrender your old CERPAC to immigration, and then you'll be issued a new CERPAC with your new employer. And they would also get the expatriate quota of your new employer, as well as the business permit and incorporation document. Also, your old employer would have to issue a letter of no objection to your new employer. So these measures are put in place to ensure that you have not committed any fraudulent or criminal act, and you are just moving from one company to another company as an expatriate without the notification of Nigerian immigration. Is also for their records as well, because your records might be needed for one reason or the other, and they need to be able to account for whatever it is that you are doing for your job, that, oh, you've moved from this company to another company, and then the former company has issued a letter of no objection stating that they are fine with you changing jobs. Yeah, so that's what you need to do in that situation.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think this does not apply to only Nigeria, but then across countries. You can't just move from one company to another with a different company's permits. So if you are changing jobs, you need to change your permit to reflect the company that you are working for. Thank you very much. Now, we want to also find out from Nigeria, if you can give us the difference between CERPAC and an STR visa.
Okay, CERPAC and STR visa, they are very different. CERPAC is the channel sorry, STR visa is the channel with which you come into Nigeria to obtain CERPAC. If you're coming for a short visit to Nigeria, you will typically use an e-visa, right? But if you're coming into Nigeria to work and reside for a long time, you have to come in with an STR visa that must be obtained from your country of residence, Nigerian embassy in your country of residence. And once you get into Nigeria, you have to apply and obtain your CERPAC within the timeline of your STR visa, which is usually 90 days. So that's the difference. CERPAC is a work and residence permit, while STR visa is basically a visa, is the channel with which you come into Nigeria.
Okay, I think this is a bit clear. So STR is a type of visa, but then CERPAC is a work and residence permit. So the two are not the same. STR does not guarantee your opportunity or the legality to work in Nigeria. It is just a visa through which you come, but without that, you cannot get CERPAC. Thank you very much for the discussion and for the clarification. Okay, so if I'm an Ivorian, do I need to work, do I need a permit to work in Senegal? Will it be cheaper for me as a Francophone? This is to Estelle. So these two countries, they are both Francophone countries. So if I am in Ivory Coast and I want to work in Senegal, do I still need work permits before I do so? And is the cost cheaper because we are both Francophone countries?
Alors, il faut faire déjà la part des choses. Si j'ai besoin d'un permis de travail pour travailler au Sénégal, ça veut dire que déjà, en fait, j'ai besoin aussi d'un permis je vais dire, j'ai besoin d'un visa même déjà pour aller aussi au Sénégal. Un Ivoirien n'a pas besoin d'un visa pour aller au Sénégal. Voilà. C'est vrai qu'après, il peut se conformer, avoir peut-être une carte de séjour, mais il peut aussi créer une entreprise sans problème, sans aucune autre nécessité d'accomplir peut-être un visa spécial investisseur, non. Donc, un Ivoirien peut travailler au Sénégal sans problème, sans besoin de visa, de permis de travail.
Okay, thank you very much, Estelle. This is very informative. Okay, now our last question that we have here, and this is to say that if you have not dropped your question yet, then I have to let you know that we are wrapping up soon. So if you have any further question, please do so as we delve into the last question that we have here. Thank you very much. So our last question is to Ghana. If I have residence permit in Ghana, work and residence permit, which I applied only last week, a week ago. Now I want to travel back to my family. On returning, do I need to get a visa or my permit is enough for me to travel back?
Okay, thank you very much, Jen. So, yes. So, if you already have a work and residence permit and you travel back, coming back, you don't need visa. But for your spouse or for your dependents, you need to get them visa on arrival. And when you come back, also you can apply for a residence permit for them. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I think that is also to emphasize the fact that it depends on the time you are coming back, because there's a validity period for your permit, which is 1 year. So assuming the person stays beyond 1 year and is coming back, does the person need a visa, or does the permit still allow the person to travel without a visa?
You need a visa when your permit has expired.
Okay.
So you
Thank you
can't
very
travel
much.
with an expired visa.
All right, so I hope this is clear for the person that asked the question. You should take note of the time you are returning. It should be within the validity period of your permit. At this point, we don't have any further questions, and I think our panelists have done justice to the topic for today. We have been briefed on all that we need to know as far as the documentations, the requirements, the fees, the duration, and also the renewal periods of the permit is concerned. They have given us much information on that. They have gone further to address all issues regarding the type of visa that you should, or work permit you should be expecting from the various countries. If it is a CERPAC, you should know that it should be a card. If it is a residence permit in Ghana, it should be a stamp in your passport. If it is a work permit, it's a letter. And all this is to guide us so that if you get something different from what has been explained to you today, you can go back to whoever issued you or whoever assisted you in getting the permit and ask questions. And then also they have helped us to understand the fact that sometimes the industries we operate in have a bearing on the kind of permits or the processes in getting the permits that we require. I hope we have taken notice of all of this. And then in the future, if we are looking forward to move into any of these West African countries, we have the prior notice and the prior knowledge of what we need to know already. Without saying much, I would want to also emphasize the fact that it is always important for you to seek professional advice when you are moving into a country that you have no knowledge of in terms of getting these regulatory compliances so that you get it right at the right time to avoid delays and also, additional costs, which you could actually avoid. Thank you very much for joining us. We would want to thank all the panel for the great and insightful discussion this afternoon. We have learned a lot from you. We are hoping to join you for more of such webinars to also address other issues. And then we also want to thank all the participants for your time and also staying until now. You have done so well, and we are grateful that you have made this webinar successful for us today. You can always share an email with us. You can send us an email if you have further questions, if you need further clarification, then we can address it for you. And if you need our help in any of these countries, as far as getting permits is concerned, we are readily available to do so for you. Kindly get in touch with us and we will always sort you out. At Firmus, we are inspired to deliver value. Thank you for joining us, and we will keep in touch. Anytime we have any upcoming webinar, we'll send you a notice for you to join us. Thank you once again, and have a great day.
Are you traveling to Nigeria? Maybe you have applied online on the online visa platform. It is stuck in there. You are not hearing feedback from them, and yet you have an urgent pending travel just around the corner. Don't worry. Firmus Advisory provides visa on arrival services in 48 hours. We will get you sorted. All you need to do is to send us your passport scan copy, your flight booking, and your passport size photo. We provide 100% money back guarantee for your visa on arrival service. If we don't get it for you, we will pay you back. We handle all the documents that needs to go with the application, the introductory documents, and all you need, give you the peace of mind and we ensure fast and safe delivery of your visa permit. We've said many nationalities, including Americans and people all over the world. Reach out to us on the contact below and we'll be happy to get you sorted.